This is Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl. Now from the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Hello and welcome to the second round of Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl this season, and welcome to February. It's our first weekend of February, and we kick off our second round with some fantastic teams. Last week, you saw Oregon earn the last spot in our Sweet 16. Now we're working on the Elite Eight. One of these teams will end up there. First, will it be the Belvidere North Blue Thunder? How about a nice round of applause for them? And this is actually the first time this season we're seeing the Blue Thunder. They were our champions. They are our reigning champs. So they got a bye in the first round, so they're making their first appearance. Lots of new faces. Thomas, though, James is consistent there on the team. James is the captain. Introduce us to your starting lineup, James.
All right, I'm James, captain of the Belvidere North Quiz Bowl team. This is Dannon, Hannah, and Brock.
Welcome, Belvidere North, and good luck. And you want to know why Thomas is on my mind? Because he's the captain of Dixon. Let's have a nice round of applause for the Dixon Dukes. And in the first round, Thomas was actually the Dixon Duke because he faced off against River Ridge all by himself. And clearly you know what the results were because he's here in the second round. But this time, Thomas, you have some company to help you get through into the third round. Introduce us to your starting lineup.
Hayden. I'm Thomas, and this is Christopher.
And a win today will put you in the Elite Eight for the very first time. That would be exciting. A little history between these two teams. They have met before. They faced each other in, guess where, our Sweet 16 round. So that's probably still fresh in our competitors' minds. We'll see what the result is today. Hands on your buzzers for our very first round. Contestants, that's why we call it the buzz-in round. Remember, if you buzz in, you're on your own. Two most important rules. Wait for me to call your name before you answer, and then say your answer loudly and clearly. Good luck, teams. Here's our first question. In what state was Simon Fraser killed in 1777 at Bemis Heights during the Battle of Saratoga, which came... James.
Vermont.
Incorrect. I'll finish for Dixon, which came 1 year after the Battle of Long Island. Thomas.
New York.
That is correct. Didn't even really need to know the Revolutionary War connection with that last clue. You're first on the board, Dixon. What principle for comparing hypotheses, sometimes stated as entities should not be multiplied unless necessary, is named for a shaving implement? Thomas.
Occam's razor.
That is correct. In other words, when you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras. 2 in a row, Dixon. What last name is shared by the admiral who won the Battle of Manila Bay in James.
Perry.
Incorrect. I'll finish for Dixon. In 1898, and a Republican who lost in the 1948 presidential race to Harry Truman. You might remember the famous mistake headline by, I think it was the Tribune, Dewey beats Truman. Dewey was the name we needed. In 1680, what current U.S. state capital was recaptured from the Spanish by the indigenous Pueblo people during Pope's rebellion? James.
Santa Fe.
That is correct. Santa Fe, and that's North's first points of the game. What composer, whose Israel and Egypt and Saul are among his English oratorios, included the choruses Worthy is the Lamb and Hallelujah in his Messiah? James.
Handel.
That's right, probably best known for his Messiah. We got a tie game now. What British politician who ran the 1880 Midlothian campaign was the rival of Benjamin Disraeli and served 4 separate stints as prime minister? James.
Peel.
Incorrect. Dixon, you could take these points and take the lead. It's kind of a tough British history question. William Gladstone. Franz Joseph Land is an Arctic archipelago of what country whose city of Murmansk is the most populous city north of the Arctic Circle? James.
Russia.
Yes, that's right. You're in the lead now. What American composer of an incomplete universe symphony wrote The Unanswered Question and the Concord Sonata? James.
Copeland.
Incorrect. Dixon. That was Ives. Charles Edward Ives. What British author who created Tommy and Tuppence Beresford, a pair of married detectives, also wrote about genteel sleuth Miss Jane Marple? Dannon.
Agatha Christie?
That is correct.
Nice.
Good job.
Microforms of what structures known as thrombi have been suggested as a possible cause of chronic fatigue syndrome and long COVID? Thrombi, more commonly known as blood clots. What young character who has a pet ball of lint named Alan and is found living in an Airbnb house by a documentarian has shoes on in a 2022 film? Hannah.
Marcel the Shell?
That is right. Marcel the Shell with shoes on is the full name of that film. What man who led a siege of Claudius Glaber's army by using vines to rappel down Mount Vesuvius instigated the Third Servile War and was a gladiator? James.
Spartacus?
That is correct. What artist who collaborated with his brother Hubert on the Ghent altarpiece painted a dog standing near the title couple of the Arnolfini portrait? Arnolfini portrait. James.
Van Eyck.
That is right. I hope my mispronunciation in the end there didn't throw you off. That was the last question of the round. So after kind of a slow start, Belvidere North is off to the lead with 70 points. Dixon, not too shabby with 20. That was a pretty good buzzing round. We'll be back with our second round of the game, which is volleyball, right after this break. Our reigning Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl champs, Belvidere North, are off to a strong start. They have 70 points. Dixon has 20. Before we get to our volleyball round, just a very quick thank you to our judge today, Dr. Tim Anderson, Jeopardy champion and Associate Professor of Philosophy at Kishwaukee College. Tim is a longtime supporter of our show, and we appreciate you being here, Tim. All right, volleyball, contestants, is a conferring round, so we encourage you to work as a team. Those answers need to come from the captains, and because of our flip, Dixon gets our first volleyball question. Thomas, are you and the team ready? Here it comes. In what state did Mary Peltola win the state's sole congressional seat in a 2022 race in which she defeated former Governor Sarah Palin?
Alaska.
That is correct. You seem to have known that one pretty quickly. You're first on the board this round. We're over to Belvidere North for your first question of the round, James. What fictional character who appeared in a 2022 video with Elizabeth II for Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee is from darkest Peru and is a marmalade-loving bear?
Paddington?
That's right. Hannah, you helped with that one. It looks like I want to give credit where credit is due. Back over to Dixon. In 1598, Shah Abbas the Great made the city of Isfahan the lavish capital of what Iranian dynasty which warred with the Ottomans?
Mamluk?
Incorrect. Safavid. That is the Safavid Empire. Back to Belvidere North. What daughter of Idmon created a tapestry of the deceitfulness of gods in a weaving contest with Athena, who subsequently turned her into a spider?
Arachne or Arachne? Arachne?
That's right. Dannon contributed on that one too. We'll give her credit as well for those 10 points. Back over to Dixon. Artist Jean-Michel Basquiat began his career as part of Samo, a duo that specialized in what form of public art?
Murals?
Incorrect. Well, you're pretty close. It's also referred to as tagging. We needed graffiti. That was the specific art form that they were, the public art form that they're involved in. Belvidere North, the correct answer here will put you in triple digits. What constellation contains a triple star system that lies about 4.4 light years from the sun and depicts a being that is half human, half horse?
Was it Sagittarius? Sagittarius?
Incorrect. Centaurus.
Centaurus.
The triple star system's Alpha Centauri, star system closest to our sun. Back to Dixon. Bear and Willie Jack are teenage members of the title group on what streaming series, which depicts a Native American community in Oklahoma?
Reservation Dogs?
You got it, right at the buzzer. Nice work. Back to Belvidere North. What biblical figure, the ultimate prophet in Mandaism, was a son of Zechariah who ate locusts and honey, was beheaded by Herod, and baptized Jesus?
John the Baptist.
Yep, that's right. That last clue probably helped. You're now at 100 and back to Dixon. In Greek mythology, fauns have the upper body of a human and the legs of what animal, which is also the symbol of the god Pan?
Goat.
Yes. You think of Mr. Tumnus, right, in the Chronicles of Narnia. You get that right, and that's how we end the round. We're out of time. A little bit tighter game now. Actually, what? We're the same point spread. Belvidere North has 100, and Dixon has 50. So it's 50 points between our teams. We're halfway through our game, which means our halftime show is next. We call that the Bergstrom bonus question. You get a preview first, and then our contestants will try and answer after this break.
Originally drafted as a catcher by baseball's Montreal Expos, Tom Brady set an NFL record when he won his 7th Super Bowl with which team?
50-point spread right now on our Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl episode today, but scores aren't going to change with an answer to this question. It's the Bergstrom bonus question. Instead, pizza and pasta from Lino's is on the line for the bonus. Grab your buzzers, contestants. Let me know if you know the answer to this question. Originally drafted as a catcher by baseball's Montreal Expos, Tom Brady set an NFL record when he won his 7th Super Bowl with which team? Tyler.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That is correct. Nice work. Fun fact, with the season-ending loss that he had a few weeks ago, Tampa Bay finished 8-9. That's the first time that Tom Brady has ever finished with a losing record, going all the way back to high school, according to our research here. And then also the film 80 for Brady just opened this weekend. Fun facts all over the place here. We'll have some more facts, answers, questions, all that stuff coming up after this break with our lightning round. We'll be right back. Our reigning champs, the Belvidere North Blue Thunder, are in triple digits right now. They have 100 points. Dixon's not too far behind with 50, and those scores will change pretty quickly in our lightning round. Because of the flip, James, you get first choice. So here are our 3 lightning round categories this week. French artists, former capitals, or 3 consecutive vowels.
What do you guys think?
Maybe the capitals or the vowels.
I'm going to say,
Whatever one you're more confident in.
I think former capitals.
Okay.
Former capitals?
Okay. The facial expressions are always great because, so Hannah, like, none of these categories are great. Former capitals. So given a city, name the country whose capital it used to be. All of your answers will be countries. You'll have 60 seconds to run this category, and then Thomas, you and the team will have 30 seconds to clean up whatever points are still on the board at the end of that 60. James, are you ready?
Yep.
Former capitals. Given a city, name the country whose capital it used to be. Rio de Janeiro.
Brazil.
Correct. Lagos until 1991.
Nigeria.
Correct.
I knew that.
Colombia until 1982.
Pass.
Krakow until 1596.
Poland.
Correct. Quezon City until 1976.
Pass.
Uppsala until 1436.
That's got to be Mexico. Mexico, right? Mexico.
Incorrect. Yangon until 2005.
Pass. Oh, I knew that.
Auckland until 1865.
New Zealand.
That's correct. Almaty until 1997.
Pass.
Dar es Salaam until 1996.
Morocco.
Incorrect. Colombo until 1982.
Sri Lanka.
That's correct. Quezon City, no time to get back to the rest of those. You added 50 points, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correct. 5 left on the board between what you answered incorrectly and what you passed on. You've got half the time, Thomas, 30 seconds. If you were watching closely, you may be able to breeze through these. Here comes your first one. Given a city, name the country whose capital it used to be. Quezon City until 1976.
Pass.
Uppsala until 1436.
Pass.
Yangon until 2005.
Pass.
Almaty until 1997.
Lebanon.
Incorrect. Dar es Salaam until 1996.
Ethiopia.
Incorrect. And no more time to get back to those. Those last 5 are really tough. I'll run down those answers very, very quickly. Quezon City until 1976. The current capital is Manila. That's the Philippines. Uppsala until 1436. Current capital is Stockholm. That's Sweden. Yangon is the former capital of Burma or Myanmar. Almaty, think of Borat's home country, Kazakhstan. Very nice, very nice. And Dar es Salaam is the former capital of Tanzania. So it's 100 points now that Belvidere North is in the lead. Dixon's got 50, but you run this category, you'll tie it up. And these are the 2 that are left, Thomas. French artists or 3 consecutive vowels?
3 consecutive vowels.
I'm not going to lie, French artists we all thought was going to be the last category anybody chose today, so we'll put that aside and move to 3 consecutive vowels. Give these words that contain 3 vowels in a row. So if you can visualize the spelling of these, it will be a breeze for you. Are you ready for your first one? You have 60 seconds. Here we go. Give these words that contain 3 vowels in a row. State whose capital is Honolulu.
Hawaii.
Correct. Main rock type along with metamorphic and sedimentary.
Igneous.
Correct. Easternmost borough of New York City.
Pass.
Board used to receive answers from the spirit world.
Ouija.
Correct. Form of cell division that produces egg cells.
Meiosis.
Correct. Word for a physical or social setting from the French for middle.
Pass.
Greek god who gave Odysseus a sack of winds.
Pass.
Mass for the dead.
Pass.
Garlic flavored mayonnaise.
Pass.
A solid image in a single color, often black and often of a person in profile.
Silhouette.
That's correct. And no more time to go back. 5 are right, you added 50, so you're up to 100. You're in triple digits now. 30 seconds left for you, James, and the team, and there's 5 on the board. Give these words that contain 3 vowels in a row. You ready?
Yep.
Easternmost borough of New York City.
Queens.
Correct. Word for a physical or social setting from the French for middle.
Pass.
Greek god who gave Odysseus a sack of winds.
Poseidon? No. Pass.
Mass for the dead.
Mass for the dead. Pass.
Garlic flavored mayonnaise.
Anybody know this one? Pass.
A solid, word for a physical or social setting. Yeah, so that's the time on the clock. You added 1 more from the 5 that were available. I'll go through these 4 really quickly that are left. Word for the physical or social setting from the French for middle is milieu. The Greek god who gave Odysseus a sack of winds is Aeolus, A-E-O-L-U-S. The mass for the dead is a requiem, or requiem. And the garlic-flavored mayonnaise is aioli, A-I-O-L-I. Lightning round's done. All we have is 1 more round in our game. That is our final challenge. With the scores 160 for Belvidere North, Dixon with 100. We'll see how the game ends right after this break. You have joined us for a great game. Our final challenge time in this week's Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. Reigning champs Belvidere North have 160 points. Dixon has 100. A seat in the Elite 8 is on the line. Hands on your buzzers, contestants. Each of these questions is worth 20 points, so that gap could close or widen very quickly, depending on how this goes. Good luck. Here's your first question. What physicist predicted that black holes evaporate by emitting virtual photons? Brock.
Hawking.
That's right. In his namesake, Radiation also wrote A Brief History of Time. What first indigenous president of Mexico toppled French-backed Emperor Maximilian and is the namesake of a city across the border from El Paso? The city is Ciudad Juarez. We needed Benito Juarez. What type of material can have a smectic or pneumatic phase, was first observed in derivatives of cholesterol, and is used in many TV screens? Hannah.
Plasma?
Incorrect.
That's what I was going to guess.
Dixon, go ahead, Thomas.
Liquid crystal.
Yes, you got it. The LC in LCD. What country whose Paktika province was the center of a June 2022 earthquake was the site of a chaotic August 21 withdrawal of U.S. troops? James.
Afghanistan?
Yes, that's correct. Fire Shut Up in My Bones by Terence Blanchard is the first post-COVID-19 opera and the first by a black composer by what American opera house? That's the Metropolitan Opera House, or the Met. What book, which describes how a beating hastened the death of the author's starving father Shlomo at Buchenwald, is a Holocaust memoir? James.
Night?
That's right, by Elie Wiesel. Powerful book. What island, whose main town is Angaroa, lies about 2,000 miles west of Chile, is called Rapa Nui by natives? Thomas.
Easter Island.
That's correct, named for a spring holy day. What bodies of water, which are called resacas in parts of Texas, form when erosion cuts a meander off from its river? Those are oxbow lakes. What game series, whose characters include the villain Handsome Jack, Tiny Tina, and robots called Claptraps? Thomas.
Borderlands.
That's right, is a Gearbox looter-shooter franchise. Mission Barrio healthcare centers were established by what man who led a Bolivarian revolution while president of Venezuela? James.
Chavez?
That's right, Hugo Chavez. What project was completed when Leland Stanford drove in a golden spike at James?
The Transcontinental Railroad?
That is correct. Promontory Summit, Utah created the National Transportation Network. What mountain is the second tallest in Africa and shares its name with a country home to Mombasa? Dannon.
Tanzania.
Incorrect. Dixon. Go ahead, Thomas.
Lesotho.
Incorrect. Kilimanjaro is the tallest, second tallest, Mount Kenya. And we are out of time for the round. So we end the round with that question. 100 points, Belvidere North. That is your victory spread. Congratulations, our reigning champs, and moving on to the next round. Dixon, though, fantastic showing. You know how hard it is, especially when you're going up against the reigning champs in any tournament, but certainly in our game. And Thomas, I still want to point out that you made it to this round by yourself in our first round, and that's pretty impressive. It was fun to watch you play that game, and we're glad that you were back here in the second round. How many of you are seniors of the three of you? Just you.
Yep.
All right. So Hayden and Christopher, your job is to recruit some people to come with you next season, so you don't have to go solo, or at least half a team, right? But it was fun to watch you play the game. Thomas, good luck, and stay in touch, okay? And again, Belvidere North, James and the team, good luck to you in our next round. You will face the winner of next week's game between AFC and, familiar foe, Belvidere. It could be a battle of the Belvideres in our next round. We'll see what happens when you join us next week.